Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a couple of S's, which is quite good, but I'm not seeing a 7-letter bingo with this rack. There could be some 8s, but it's quite a balanced rack and I've got a good scoring tile in the Y, so I should be able to play through this. If opponent changes, a play of toy would score quite well. Just wondering if there are any 8s with this rack. Initial reactions are that there could be, but I haven't identified any as yet. Okay, well, 3 floaters to consider. Does the N assist? I have the sin prefix. The stony ending. Not that that's much of an ending. So what about the E? Not seeing anything there. And the W, close to stowaway, not close enough. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything. How to sort the rack out? Well, my Y can go underneath the N to get doubled. Can I do something better than that? A play of toy would provide access to the triple word square at H1, so I'd rather avoid that. UE is spelt with an IE ending. So I could do this. Toy for 21, quite a good score. Quite a good rack leave. Not giving too much away. If I played that above Newt, 15 points. I prefer the extra points. Now, is Strumers good? Strumer is good as a singular, and Stroomy is one of its plurals. Is Strumers also a plural? I think it is. And if so, I've got that in a couple of places, both of which have been blocked, but opponent has created new ones. So I could play Strumers and Wags. Face value bingo, not great. OW doesn't take an S. What about a bingo ending or beginning with E, or just with an E? Not seeing anything, and the N is not going to be better than this play, so let's see if this stays on. Strumers for 68, and it does. Great, and this is a pretty good pickup. I have Tabaret and Rabat, and I think there's a third anagram here. Tabaret plays in row G and I, and also column 12, so I do have back-to-back bingos. Wow! And opponent bingos. 90 points, double-double. I now trail by 30-odd points, so my back-to-back bingo is just going to establish a slender lead. Just wondering about the best position for Tabaret or Rabat. Both of those plays in column 12. Place a vowel next to a double word square. Just wondering about Traviate. It could have a sticky D. Let me just check that. They're both good. Great. Well, that makes life easy. Traviate for 89. And that's a pretty good pickup. I have the X. It's quite an open board. and I have a balanced rack. I can't see a way of placing the X next to the A of Traviate, except I do have axonal. I was looking for parallel plays to Traviate, but I do actually have axonal, which will be a half decent score. Not a huge amount worth hanging on to with this rack. Still 1 blank and 2 S's to come, and a ton of E's. Now, what about this triple letter square next to the first E of fiancés? The C stops me playing above it. And I don't have any XAT plays. I have Caxon in row H, which is quite nice. 45 points. 42 for axonal. And axonal places an O underneath this triple letter square, which is not great, with the J and the Z still to come. So Caxon, my favourite play so far. Klaxon may also be good with a C rather than a K. Not totally sure of that. Let me just check that, since I can. Yep, that's fine. So quite a few options here. Klaxon would play in column 12. 38 points. And that would take out bingo lanes and not offer very much in return. I'll need to consider where I stand with my opponent, but I do have options pretty much all over the board. I think Traviate only takes a D and doesn't take an S. I have Calyx in row F, but that keeps double O, so is unlikely to be optimal. Opponent taking a while with this move. He may have drawn the second blank. If he has, there are certainly quite a lot of floaters to consider. Caxon leaves LON, which isn't a great rack leave. Wow, 49 points for opponent. So we're pretty much level. I think I prefer Klaxon. It's a lower score than Caxon, but it reduces the volatility of the board, cutting out bingo lanes. And the rack leave of O is better than the rack leave of LNO, I think. Probably not terribly much between them. The Klaxon really offers very little. Zax is good. Oboe is good, but I don't have an E for going after the R. I'm going with this. Well, I draw the J, and I have a 30-point lead. Board fairly, well, it feels fairly restricted in terms of scoring potential. Nothing has leapt out at me with this J, even though I have 3 vowels on the rack and no duplicate tiles. I have Jog in column 4. Pretty good, doesn't provide anything at all. It would be quite nice to play off the U with the J, so a play of Jug or Gaju. But I'm not seeing anywhere for that play. I can't see anything onto this N using the J. Well, I have Jotun, so there is something there, and it uses the U, so that's pretty good. 39 points, keeping CIG. A lot of I's to come. But a decent score, and the floaters of JOT not massively useful. "13 minutes on opponent's clock. He's taking a little while with his plays. 47 tiles in the bag. The floating T of Traviate, quite a useful floater, or could be a useful floater for a bingo. Onto an A, I would have Cottija. I could play Joe, Jar and Ox. 27 points. Keeping the U, so not as good as Jotun. If I had an A, I would have had Cajun. Now, do I have anything in column 9? My G can go after Z, A. Only an S goes after O, E, so the best I can do is GI. 23 points. That's not as good as the J plays I've been considering. Row C might be quite hot for plays including or ending ZA, which get doubled. Can't see anything with my current rack which works. So what have I seen? I've seen Jotun. What if that's blocked? I don't think I saw anywhere to play Jug. Well, I've got the JO play, but the score isn't great, and a rack leave including GU doesn't feel good. Still all 4 Ds to come for Traviated, but I don't think that's a massively hot spot. Now, what about the bottom of column 8 through this U? I don't have anything which works in that spot. I have Jute onto the E. Okay, just 13 points for opponent. Fantastic. And he has actually provided a spot for Jug. 31 points. If I played Jotun, 39 points, so I'm sacrificing 8 points, but I'm taking out the bingo lane created by Q, and I'm also not providing 3 floaters, which Jotun would have done. And the rack leave's not bad, there's some synergy going on there. And Jug really provides nothing at all. I'm going with this. Great, that looks a pretty balanced rack. Through an E, I would have Docilist. Through an S, I would have Disclosed. Now there is a floating E, but it's not in the right position for my bingo. Can't see anything with the R or T. And I can't see a 7 with this rack, but it's a pretty bingo-y balanced rack. So how can I score? Do I have anything which goes on the end of ZA apart from my S? I don't. And I'm looking around for opportunities to score which doesn't open the board up. Although this is quite a bingo-y rack, it's not massively so. And I have a slender lead, so I don't want to gift my opponent additional bingo lanes. Opponent play of Gu has taken out the ZA words I was talking about earlier. I don't think Docilist has an anagram. Opponent opens the board up again, which I guess is the right thing for him to do. XI only takes an S. AR takes a D. Just wondering about a play which ends DS and gets doubled. Not seeing such a play. I could play clods. 38 tiles in the bag. Quite tempting. Clods does take out the R as a floater. Now ARC is also good. So the Holy Grail is a 6-letter play ending something S, which works. Could end TS. So what about Lotix? Is it Lotix or Lorix? I think it's Lorix. Yep, just Lorix, so that doesn't work. 13 minutes on my clock. 1 S, 1 blank to come. Now there is a floating E, there is a floating T. And I do have quite a bingo-y rack. So I don't have to take out column 14. But it is quite a nice bingo lane for bingos ending ES. However, any such play will open up the triple word square at the top right. How to sort this rack out? It's quite good, but it's not great. Let me see what Clods scores. 30 points. That is a good score. That is a good score, and it's providing nothing. I'm going with this. Whoa, not great. But not a disaster either. I've got a good scoring tile in the Y. And I have a good lead. And the board is quite tight. Clods has taken out the R of Traviate, so there's just the T. And although it's available in multiple positions, a bingo would have to begin with the T to score really well. Again, I'm looking at the ZA spot, but I don't have anything which goes after it. Can't see anywhere great for Yiti. Opponent opens the board up again. And he could be doing this just because he's behind, but he could also be doing it because he's got the S or the blank. And I don't have a great blocking play this turn. I don't have anything which goes in front of UH, with a view to playing down column 8. I guess I could play through this R. My lead's pretty fragile, just 50 points. And a play through the R or the T could serve to disrupt a row N play. So what about this? Netty 24 points, shocking rack lead, especially with all these E's and I's to come. But it takes out a hot spot and it disrupts a bingo lane. Can I do better? I don't think so. I'm going with this. Pretty lucky, drawing a couple of consonants. Wow, opponent does bingo. It is a face value bingo. Only 59 points, so I still lead by 17 or 18. 20 tiles in the bag. Let me check the vowel situation. 9 out of 27 tiles, so although I've got a lot of vowels, that's okay. And the board has pretty much no bingo lanes. I guess row N is a possibility, but that would provide really good scoring opportunities, and also the Y not a particularly useful floater. So what is imperative is to keep scoring. Let me see what scoring tiles are left. B, F, H, K, P, Q, V, V, quite a lot, but no massively hot spots. Now, finally, I have something to go on the end of Tsar. PI for 29, that's exactly the sort of score I'd like to have. I could play PE in that spot, but multiple E's less of a problem than multiple I's, and more I's to come than E's. So is there anything better than PI? I don't think so. I'm going with this. Wow, I draw the S and a blank. What a fortunate two-letter pick. So I could be bingoing, despite the board being so non-bingo-y. What goes after AH? Well, I and A and S. And there's also the floating Y, which looks less useful. But opponent's behind by 47 points. Well, I was going to say maybe he'll open the board up because he did before, but he hasn't. And he scored 32 points, so my lead is just 15 points. Now this is a pretty bingo-y rack. So do I have any plays beginning something SI? Not sure I do. I have E Serine, but MUE not good. So what to do here? I've got 8 minutes on my clock, which is a decent amount of time. If I played off just double E, I'd be in a good position to bingo. But I'm going to struggle to create 2 bingo lanes. However, I could just play double E here, taking out a hotspot for the F, and keeping alive row N for a bingo. Opponent is still behind, so he may be minded to open the board up, in which case I'm certainly ready to pounce with this rack. Only 10 points for double E. And the F could go after the I, so I'm not really taking out a massive spot. So, why don't I play double E here? Slightly more points. I am creating a B spot, but it's not a massive one. No S's left, just wondering if I can create a selfish lane. Can't see one. I'm going with this. Okay, I draw one of the V's. Do I have a bingo in row N? A couple of I's, so it makes sense that one of them would go after AH. I don't think MUR is good, so what goes after MU? D. And I'm keeping an eye on this rack with the tiles I consider. G. M. N. Wow, is there really no bingo with this rack plus an N, or with the blank as an N? Not seeing one. S. Not seeing a bingo there. Wow, fantastic. Opponent creates a new bingo lane in row O. So do I have a bingo with that O? So I've got the over prefix, but with 2 I's, not seeing anything. I trail by 1 point. There are 11 tiles in the bag. So a bingo at this point would be quite critical, and a bingo miss would be critical. Let me run through the alphabet, keeping in mind an O. So I have the voice prefix. Not seen anything so far. Still nothing. Well, really avos possibly, but I don't think that's good. One thing I can do now is create a new bingo lane, because there is definitely one in row O. Well, that looks promising, but I'm not seeing a bingo. Revisit as a 7. Okay, so I'm not seeing a bingo through the O. Do I have a bingo beginning with the D? Unlikely. So where can I play off V and N, creating new bingo lanes? V and I, rather. Well, I could play Van, which has some merit. It's creating a new lane. I'm stopping opponents scoring well in row H. I don't want to play off any more tiles, because this is the optimal rack leave, and I don't want to draw the Q or the V. Downside of this is that I trail by 1 point, and this only scores 7. However, I think it's reasonable to try for a bingo with this rack. I'm going with this. So I think overside is good, which plays through the V. And I also have overside in row O. So if overside is good, I am bingoing. And it is. Fantastic. That has worked out beautifully. And row O is going to score the most, although it is going to open a new bingo lane in column 15. But look at the remaining tiles. Pretty non-bingo-y. And my opponent must look at this board and think that there aren't great bingo lanes, and he may simply try and shut down one of them and outrun me, which might work quite nicely if he shuts out row O for a low score, because overside doesn't provide any real openings that opponent can capitalise on. Five minutes on my clock, 6 on my opponent's. And there's just 6 points between us, but I have a guaranteed bingo on my rack. Just looking around for any bingo lanes I've overlooked, but I'm not seeing any. Opponent has been scoring well. 32 for HM, 29 for updo. So if I didn't have a bingo, he'd be in quite a strong position. Let me check the remaining vowels. 6 out of 16. So slightly vowel dry. Still the Q to come. And V, K, F and B. So quite a few high scoring tiles. So overside is not going to guarantee me the win. If opponent puts together another couple of 30 or 40 point plays, we could be neck and neck. However, overside is going to massively deplete the bag. Look at this, just 17 for opponent. He's taken out the V. I have overside for 77. I have provided a spot for chin. So maybe I should look for alternative bingos. Still beginning with O. Let me run through the alphabet. I've got 4 minutes, so I'm considering this rack plus an O. That would be rebodies. Not seeing anything. Ordinese. Interesting. Yeah, that's going to be better. Not seeing anything else. That's overside. So let me see what Ordinese offers. It's 74 points. This I is far less useful for opponent's Q. The S possibly more useful for column 15. There could be some bingos in these remaining tiles, but I think it's unlikely. Ordinese for 74. Well, opponent's got Q, V and F on his rack. He didn't have Chin, but he would have had Chi. In which case he could have had Chi, Chi and Id. So is this enough for me to win? I haven't looked around for opponent's scoring spots. I've got just 3 minutes on my clock. Can I go out in 1? And I'm looking at the E and S of Ordinese initially. Those are the most promising spots. Not seeing an out there. Well, the Y isn't available. It would have to end on the D. That's not going to happen. So I don't think I am going out in 1. So this could be quite tight, but I surely must be the favourite to win here. $23 for opponent. So I'm 40 points ahead. Opponent not going out in 1. So I think if I can just chuck down a bunch of tiles and score 20 points, then that should do the job. 2 minutes on my clock. So where can I score? What do I have down from the B? Well, I can't see any 5-letter plays with the B, and I'm sure there will be some. Do I have anything ending Vin? Not seeing anything. I do have Lint for 11 points, which is my fallback option. Well, I have Viator for 20, keeping LN. Can I go out with LN? Not sure I can. 1 minute on my clock. Do I have anything which goes after Zoo? I do. I have a T which goes in that spot. Do I have any INTA words? Don't think so. So I can play Tan, and then I'm keeping Broil and Royal. So Tan for 16. Yep, so there was a 5-letter play with the B, Broil, for 14. And 10 for Royal and Rin. So, opponent's got AFLOV, F and V lack synergy. So I'm not really sure what his options are. I've been focusing more on my own rack, given how short the remaining time is. 2 minutes on opponent's clock and 1 on mine. Wow, we have both used the vast majority of our time. I was watching Nigel Richards become the World Scrabble Champion 2019 earlier this afternoon. Absolutely amazing match against David Eldar. Just incredible watching a game played where almost every play is optimal. Quite inspiring. Now, opponent plays Fave for 20, so I lead by 30 odd. He's blocked my royal spot, but my better spot remains down here. Broil for 14. Well, can I score more down here? 17 points. Can I do any better than that? 50 seconds on my clock. I don't think so. And the final score, 404 for my opponent, 461 for me, a winning margin of 57 points, so a huge win. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played new. It tossed, quite nice. What did I do here? I played toy for 21. Yeah, but keeping probably a better rack leave than those on offer here, so I'm happy with my play. Wow! Bunch of bingos for opponent. All difficult to see. Tweenage, Greenway and Wangi. But they were there. He plays Wag. And now I have Streumers. And there was a positioning of it in column 12, making out Yar and Goo, which would have scored 85 points. So that was actually quite a bad miss by me, dropping nearly 20 points and providing opponent the opportunity to play a high-value double-double bingo. Now I have Traviate for 89. And other bingos were available. Opponent's rack. He plays Zoo, and there's just 3 points between us. I played Klaxon for 38. I considered and rejected Caxon because I wanted to keep the board tight. And look at this, if I had played Caxon, opponent would have had Dungaree or Unagreed. As it is, he has no bingo at all. Plays Gyu, which does take an A in front, and I don't think I commented on that, or didn't comment on it. A Jotun, I considered that, and went with Jug instead for 8 fewer points and a tighter board. Opponent's rack, plays Rid, and no bingo for me. Lotic, B14. Well, I don't really like that because there are hooks for Arc. There's H and O and S. But look, Dicots was available, so there was a 6-letter play. And I played Clods for 30. Opponent plays UH. And now I have a slender lead. And opponent appears to be opening the board up, indicating he may have a blank or an S. N7, Yiti. Where's that? N7. Ah, Y-I-T-I-E, yeah, but I don't like placing an I over this triple word square. So I played Netty to keep the board tight. Opponent bingos, good spot. And now I have an 18-point lead. So I played Pi for 29, which I like. Horrible rack for opponents. But Harm, B6. Wow, because Razoo is good. And Impy. Wow, that would have been a great spot. Plays for 32. And wow, yes sirree. Beginning with the Y. That came up in my card box just a couple of days ago. But I didn't see it. That would have been fantastic. It doesn't take an S at the end. And in any event, there were none left. So a missed bingo there. I played double E. Opponent plays up do. No bingo for me. And I played Van, and I really like that. Although I'm dropping 20 points, the Rackley, the EI RS blank is an absolute monster, probably worth between 40 and 50 points. Opponent's rack. He plays Bacon to take the lead by 11, and I have Overside and Ordinese, and also a couple of other plays which score less, but I like Ordinese. B6. Wow, because that spot remains available. Opponent plays Chi. No out for me. A ton of plays in the 20s. I get 16. Opponent plays Fave. And finally, Royal for 17 was best. So, absolutely epic game. Really, really close getting towards the end of the game. And I was fairly fortunate in being able to get a bingo down to move into the lead just at the critical moment as we entered the end game, and opponent had the Q, F and V. So all good fun. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.